And everyone's, it's done.
Is it that time? Are we here? Is it Thursday?
Yes,
Look
it is.
who's next to me. Let's turn on a little bit of tunage in the background.
Oh yeah.
I'll make sure I keep it on low because I do not have my headphones on today. We do mostly everything through software here versus hardware. So I don't have 10 mics and 10 headphones and all that. We're working super basic and super minimal today.
Yeah.
So happy Thursday to everyone. Thanks for joining us. And Annette came from a little ways, right?
A little ways,
Yeah.
yes. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
This is
course.
fun.
And it's totally cool. There was a
Yeah.
little bit of traffic on the road, as there usually is in the morning. But the kind thing about Annette was she said that she would come in, and it's such a better experience, I feel. Although last week's was great, it's such a great feeling to have somebody next to me doing this live and really just like connecting on that human level when we're here.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us. Let me know if the music is too loud. I have it on 19, whatever the F that means. All right.
And we can't hear it. That's the only
Yeah, we
thing.
can't hear it either. So we have Andrew on there. Happy Thankful Thursday, Dave. Looking forward to today. Sabrina says, hey, and good morning. Veronica says, good morning, everyone. Veronica is super cool. Have you met her before?
I don't think so.
Oh,
no, not yet. I guess I need to.
Oh my, she is the bomb. Like super focused. I love how she uses her language patterns. And she was on a panel with me about a week or two ago, and we were discussing how to make a good first impression. So of course they had me on that panel, you know, because I'm all about the great first impression. But Veronica was super cool, and I look forward to collaborating with you more. Nate says, finally a Thursday morning he could drop in. Feels like it's been ages. Glad to be here with you, brother Dave. I really appreciate everybody sharing their time, investing the next half hour to hour with us as we challenge you to live beyond default. So a few more people will get on. And what'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a smoothie. I had a green smoothie. I know that's kind of cliche, but yes, I was having a smoothie. It's mango, pineapple, spirulina, which really gets me going. I love spirulina.
Yeah, spirulina's great.
Yeah. Do you have it usually?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not
it's
usually.
not the best flavor. It's a vegetable, it's a sea vegetable, so it's like,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then dulse and bee pollen.
What's dulse?
Dulse is another sea vegetable.
Okay, I never heard of that.
It's purple. Yep. It looks like it's very high. It's really good for iodine, which is something that we are very deficient in.
How many times have I said that? Iodine. I actually have the Mary Ruth's iodine drops.
Yep.
Yeah. Do I really?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, I may be a meat eater, okay? But I know my veggies. I know my nutrients. I think magnesium, we are super deficient in also. Yeah. So I take that before I go to bed. Where do you get your bee pollen or your honey from?
Yeah. So, typically, I have to plug somebody here, but I love 3 Bees. So Connie is of 3 Bees, and she's local. So local to the Chicagoland area, around like Bartlett area, Streamwood, Elgin area. So I usually get honey there. If I'm in a pinch, I try to find another farmer's market that's close, and I'll get the my honey from them. But the bee pollen, I just went to a nutrition store and ended up getting. They're like little, they almost look like little pellets.
Yeah.
So good. They taste like honey, but if you have a honey allergy, just be very careful. But they're really high in B vitamins. So that's why I put the bee pollen in there as well. So they're high in a lot of other things too, a lot of other nutrients, but it's a medicine. So it's medicinal, and that's why I put it in there. But it gives a good flavor too.
It does give a good flavor.
Sweetens it up a little, yeah.
Yeah. Last night, what did I do before I went to bed? I did in my evening practice, I had honey. So it is local. I think the bee guy is in like Dundee.
Oh.
He's somewhere very close west, right? So what I'm getting is the water, the plants, the air that's local from when, just like Carolyn Linton,
You think about that.
Oh, I think about that a lot.
That's right.
And what's cool is I mixed it with apple cider vinegar in hot water. So I did apple cider vinegar and honey and hot water. And I learned that one from Tim Ferriss. Like, to me, Tim Ferriss is like an OG podcaster that was always, I don't want to call him necessarily like a life hacker or a health hacker, but I always liked his books. I always liked what he was bringing to the table. Even I would share with people as a guy, like, how do you naturally boost your testosterone? And one of the ways to do it is eating selenium. Well, how do you get selenium? Well, Brazil nuts are super high in selenium.
Right.
But there's a caveat. They're also high in omega-6 fatty acids. And what does the balance of omega-6 and omega-3 do to you? Well, in my opinion, if you get too many omega-6s, it's inflammatory.
And omega-9.
See?
Right? Like
I didn't even know there was an omega-9.
Omega-9, right? So but when you, I'm pretty sure it is, but you want to get that good balance of omega stuff. Sorry, didn't mean to steal the show there.
You're not stealing anything. This is what we're all about.
It's our show.
It's not my show. It's our show.
Right?
Oh, that was so cute. It's our show. We're already doing the hearts and the love. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to start off with a reading. Let me turn off our music. There we go. The music is off.
Okay.
We got a couple more people. Love more bee pollen. I'm here for the algorithm, says Kent Davies.
That's my friend. I know.
I like that.
Thanks, Kent.
I like that. Jack Butita, great for allergies. I love when Jack stops by.
Yes.
And Sabrina says there's 5 types of omegas. Sabrina's out of control. She was on
I know
this.
She was.
Yeah, she was on this Live Beyond Default live stream before, and she's an introvert. So what does she do? She gets out there. She goes beyond her comfort zone instead of.
And she's really good at it. Yeah, you are really good at it, Sabrina.
Yes, she is. We love it. Jennifer Christine, thanks for joining us. All right. So today we have a reading from the Tao Te Ching, one of my faves. I talk about this all the time. We're going to let her start.
Okay, so I'll just start. Yes, so this is, she who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony, even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. I can't believe it's episode number 38. My name is Dave. I am your host, and our special guest is Annette Licitra. Did I say that right?
You said it right. Yes.
I said that right.
Not many people do.
I'm just going to call her the plant girl for now. Okay? She's the plant girl. And today we're discussing food for thought. As always, you'll love the conversation, the collaboration, the leadership takeaways, and of course, fun with purpose when you join us on Live Beyond Default live stream. You could be on the treadmill, you could be driving to work, maybe you're doing some dishes, or maybe you're at work, but you have this little tab open up in the background where you're just kind of listening because it's feeding your head. Actually, your employer should give you a discount or pay you more because you're listening to this, because I'll bet you will be a higher performer at work after listening to this show. I guarantee that. For sure. And as I like to ask all the time, I'm asking her this too.
Yeah, okay.
Has your week been epic so far?
Of course. Of course. I'm just going to go with of course.
Yeah.
I want to be positive.
I like that. If your week has not been epic so far, why not?
Yeah.
Let's take responsibility for our thoughts, what we say, our actions, right? Let's get them aligned. We don't blame the economy, gas prices, the president, the Bitcoin, our bosses, our ex-girlfriends or ex-boyfriends. We don't blame any of that. We take full responsibility for where we are in life, and we could start to make the change right now.
Oh, I completely agree. We are responsible only for ourselves. And that is one key, even when I don't know, I feel like even more over the past couple of years, I'm not going to get into it, but it's
let's get into it.
Oh, you want to get into it? Okay. Yeah. Well, thinking about you need to, everyone needs to do this, and someone's telling another person to do that. And that's still going on. I mean, it's always been going on forever and ever, right?
Yeah.
But it's let's take responsibility for me. Don't worry about what that other person is doing, where they're going, how they're doing it. That's fine. But take the risk, you're only responsible for one person, and that's you. And I kind of was getting a little irritated with the whole, you need to do this, we need to do that. That's something you. And it's like, well, wait a minute, stop for a second and figure out what you need to do for you first. You're only responsible for yourself. Not that this person makes me irritated and this person makes me, it's like, well, you're choosing to be irritated because of what they said. You can choose to shift the perspective and make it different. So, oh yeah, that's a bit, you hit like a nail on, well, not on my head, but basically you just like kind of struck a chord with me with the it's your choice and it's your responsibility. You are your own responsibility. Right?
I like that. And not only do I like that, but I like striking that chord early because we're not here to play softball. Okay. No. If you watched last week's episode with Katie, we didn't play softball at all. We dove in deep in the mud, like instantly on the show. And if you haven't checked that out, go back to the YouTube page or go back to LinkedIn or Facebook and you can see the recording of Katie. So that was super cool. But back to what Annette just said and taking responsibility. It's interesting how when we judge or when we point to others and say maybe what they should be doing, we really are seeing ourselves in that situation. Right. And we're really judging ourselves when we do that. There was somebody that said to me before, when you find yourself judging somebody, the thing to do is say to yourself, just like me. Right? I have heard that too. So think about that. Like, oh, this person is that, or why is this person doing this? And you say, just like me, because really it's you're putting that mirror
reflection
in front of your face and it's okay. We like to say we're all doing the best we can with what we have at this time. And we all are. Nobody's better than anybody else. Right. We're not going to cancel anybody because we think different. I'm not canceling Annette because she doesn't like eggs.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll talk about that.
I love
Not
it.
that I don't like them.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I had to say that. So
I know. I knew I was waiting for that to come. I was totally waiting for the eggs thing to come.
How can I not? So let's start off with what I usually share. So I always share with everybody that I'm drinking bulletproof coffee. And bulletproof coffee wasn't invented, but I believe it was discovered by Dave Asprey. And he was overseas, where was he? In like Nepal. And what the locals gave him was they gave him tea with yak butter.
I have not had. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
that's what they gave him over there because they have yaks. Yeah. And what happened was he thought it was good. So he probably took the idea that more people drink coffee here than tea, mixed the caffeine with grass-fed ghee, and of course, MCT oil. Now I buy Dave Asprey's MCT oil versus other ones because I don't feel as good when I drink the other ones in my stomach. I put a little cinnamon. I put a tiny piece of high cacao, almost no sugar chocolate with no milk in there. And of course, the cayenne pepper, because the cayenne is the best, right? So that's the only kind of pepper I can use. But I love the bulletproof coffee. And let's start on this. Let's talk about caffeine and dairy.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So Plant Woman.
By the way, I have to tell you, it's funny. Somebody actually called me, and I can't remember. It was like Salad or Plant something, but it's a superhero name. It was almost like Plant Lady or Plant Girl, something. And I'm like, really? And this is not, no, I should say somebody. I've had a couple people say that. So you are not the first person. You're probably like the third or fourth person. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's worse things to be called, right? So I'll take it. I'll take it.
You know, you seem kind of planty. You smell very natural. You look very natural. It's all good, right?
Well, thanks. So, I hope so.
So let's talk about bulletproof coffee first of all. Now, I use it as a what I would call an intermittent fast. And the reason why I do that, because I believe that the fat from the MCT oil and the fat from the ghee, which I believe most of the milk product is actually out of the ghee. Is that not correct? So if you're lactose intolerant, you can eat ghee, and you
clarified.
probably will not, because of the milk sugar and the milk protein, isn't most of it
fat.
out of there?
Yeah, so you get the milk fat and and the milk, the sugars, of course, which is the lactose, and then the milk
Is
fat.
almost out of there.
Right.
So
it's still dairy. Dairy is dairy is dairy. It's still dairy.
Yes,
so
and we're gonna get on that one too, right? Because I know we're the only species that drinks another mother's milk, right? Like I get that one. Someone said that to me 30 years ago. Okay, so I'm not dissing that, but talk to me. Caffeine, grass-fed ghee, like what am I doing to my body? Is caffeine like a good nootropic? Is it a good drug if it's used in moderation, like anything? I know anything could be taken out of control and used too much, but what are your generalities about, let's start with milk, dairy, and coffee. Okay. Right? Let's just start with
my two favorite.
Yeah, I know they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say we'll go with the caffeine. So the coffee. Now, again, everybody's body is going to be a little bit different. So this is not just you. This is not not for everybody, right? But for some people, so caffeine or coffee at least can be dehydrating to the liver.
Okay.
So I would always say if you are a coffee drinker, you want to drink 3 cups of water to 1 cup of coffee. Every cup of coffee you're having.
I like that. So I like that. I'm usually around 100 ounces per day. Well, now you actually broke down
of water. Okay.
Yeah. And water doesn't mean lemonade. Water means water.
It means water.
Yes. It doesn't mean mixed with anything else.
Right. A filtered.
So I like that you said that. So now if you're having a cup, make sure you have 3 cups of water. So it's about 24 ounces to help metabolize that caffeine. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, you're trying to hydrate your liver. You want to make sure that your liver is hydrated, because if we're talking anything dis-ease related, typically it's going to be liver related. So liver related, that means your liver is either stagnant. We hear a lot of fatty liver, cirrhosis, and that's further down where you're getting really out of ease. So anything stagnant liver, or even like pre-diabetic, liver, that's all related to the liver. So when we drink a lot of coffee, now not only does it affect the liver, but it's affecting your adrenals. So what does adrenal sound like? Adrenaline. So the key is we don't want to constantly be having our adrenals taxed or our livers taxed, because the more that those are taxed, the more that they're overburdened, the more that your body is it's going to be pumping a lot of adrenaline when it shouldn't be. And it needs to kind of come down. That's why the water is helpful. I don't drink coffee. I couldn't even imagine this on coffee. This would be way crazy. And it is way crazy. So I don't do coffee personally. I do tea, but I just have the natural energy from I do a lot of smoothies in the morning, a lot of water with lemon. So if you're going to do coffee, I would highly encourage water, but water with lemon also, because it's high in electrolytes and it's also very good for your liver, helpful to cleanse your liver. So hopefully you're doing, more, obviously lemon, lime, or any citrus would be fine in your water.
Lemon or lime in the water.
Yeah, orange, grapefruit.
If you're drinking coffee, make sure that you have water that you're drinking.
Each cup.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. That's a lot, because you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually on about 30 ounces before I even leave the house in the morning. So I'm drinking a full cup when I get up. And then I'm drinking more before I leave throughout my morning practice. So I'm getting that hydration. Well, I'm not perfect, right? Again, I'm doing the best I can.
None of us are.
And we're all learning. And that's what I think is good. Like, you talk about the milk. So I always felt like I had a lactose intolerance. So when I eat cheese, if I buy cheese for my house, it's that A2 cow. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's unpasteurized and it's raw.
Right.
Now, I go to a grass-fed farm locally here. It's called All Grass Farms. And I also go to another farmer, which is Wallace Farms in Iowa. I get food from them too. Right. So when it comes to the milk, now there are lines for their raw milk at All Grass Farms. Is it safe to say that the raw milk, because it's not pasteurized and because it has the natural digestive enzymes already in it, that when you drink it, it's almost helping itself digest because it's got that in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better. Absolutely. Raw, unpasteurized is better than having a pasteurized. Yes.
Which is
dairy.
Pretty much 98% of everything in the store is pasteurized.
It's all pasteurized. So it's
Yeah.
heated, obviously it's got to be heated so that it kills off certain bacteria, which is killing off the digestive enzymes and killing off the good bacteria too that you need. So
Yes.
that's why it's pasteurized, and so it's shelf stable.
More
shelf stable.
Now let me ask you this. That's really good. So it's killing off the what when they pasteurize?
Well, the enzymes and bacteria.
Bacteria.
All, but it's definitely trying to kill off any bacteria.
Got it.
So yeah.
So let me ask you this then. Is it safe to say that so much of what we're eating today is there's stuff put in it to give the shelf life longer,
yes.
to kill the bacterias that really were not there many years ago? So isn't it safe to say that it's not necessarily that milk is bad for you or meat is bad for you?
Right.
It's the way that most meats and most milks and most things are processed, because you're not going to tell me to eat soy, I hope.
No. Right,
okay. Because soybeans, you're not eating.
It's mostly genetically modified anyway. So
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's very GMO.
And it's a precursor to estrogen, is it not?
It is.
Yeah.
And again, depending if it's GMO and what's been sprayed on it too.
Right.
Okay, right. So we've got pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, all of that can really mess up the gut. And it does, because a lot of our products, produce, are sprayed. However, if we look at certain Asian countries that do consume a lot of soy, we have to look at what their disease is like too. So are they constantly at a higher level of disease? No. So, and again, it depends on what they're eating, what we're eating. Typically in the United States, we're eating a lot of genetically modified soy, which is junk. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage. I'm just going to say that because it's not good. And then, of course, it's being sprayed. So the crop is a monocrop typically. So it's being
always
crazy.
When I say always, I mean 95% of the time it's mono. When you're driving down the road through Illinois and you see those rows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they are basically manufactured plants that are being fed to manufactured cows and manufactured animals that we are then ingesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And I like that. No, I don't like eating it, but we're
going with that. Yeah.
We're going with that. And I think that's an important distinction to make.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because that ties into meat then too.
It
dairy,
does.
Your meat. Yeah.
It does. And I think, this is just my opinion, I might be wrong. I think that when it comes down to it, you know how you feel when you eat something.
Oh, absolutely.
I can tell when I eat something right away if it's not good for me.
Right.
Within a few minutes, it's almost like I could feel my face getting a little puffy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
There's a sensitivity there then to something.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm feeling it when I'm at a certain
Mm-hmm.
restaurant or when I'm at a certain, just if I'm eating something, I can tell right away how my belly feels. Am I getting gas? Does it feel good going down? You know what feels good? What? We're all over the place.
Yeah, I know, that's okay.
We're all over the place.
Totally fine.
What feels really good when I eat it is liver.
Oh, really? Okay.
My belly feels so good. I get super focused and energized.
Interesting.
I can't stand how it tastes.
Yeah.
It gets caught in my teeth.
It's not the best.
And I'm like gagging when I think about it, because it's like, but I know when I eat it, I feel good. So I've actually used like the liver bites, right? There's some liver bites. They don't last. You open up the bag in you have to eat them in 2 days or they go bad, right? Because there's no preservatives on them.
Right.
And they kind of get caught in my teeth. And it's the only way I can literally swallow it and stomach it, because I don't like cooking pieces of liver. But I found that liver makes my belly feel good. And I feel that, I may be wrong again, is not liver and organ meat the most nutrient dense
meat
foods on the planet?
it can be nutrient dense. Of course, it depends on the animal.
Okay.
Right. So like, how is the animal being fed? Are they toxic? Because again, that's one of the filters in the body, right next to your kidneys, and we've got your liver as is a powerhouse in your body. So if that animal is eating good food and the food that it's supposed to process, then that liver is going to be healthier. So then you're going to absorb hopefully more of the nutrients. And then if that animal is not healthy, right, which is what we're eating a lot of the monocrops, which are super sprayed. So that's the wheat, the corn, the soy. Those are the big three that are very, very heavily sprayed, that are very monocropped. They're very GMO'd, genetically modified. So then the animal's eating that, and then they're ingesting that. So they're processing it. That's not, they're processing a lot of toxins.
Yeah.
That may not be a healthy animal. So then you may not be eating a healthy liver. So that's the thing. And most of us in the United States, unfortunately, our livers are overburdened. We'll just say that. So eating liver can be helpful, but really depends on what the animal was like and how much you're eating of it. So I personally feel like one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet are plants. Plant girl. So plants.
Plant girl.
So I'm not saying don't eat animal protein, but making sure it's clean, right? And when I say clean, it's that the animals are actually eating what they should be eating, what they should have been feeding off of in the first place, not where man has shifted it and it's become very manufactured, where they're eating all the crops that are genetically modified and sprayed like crazy, and then given antibiotics and given a lot of medications.
Yes.
And most antibiotics are actually administered in the United States to animals. So that's kind of gross.
Isn't that amazing?
Not humans.
The fuck are we giving them animals for?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Because they're so sick, right? They're so sick because they're eating the things that they should not be. So hence, again, I could say liver if you know where it's coming from.
Yes.
But if you're just eating right out of the grocery store, typically, then, that's very commercialized and those poor animals are very, very sick. So there's tons of reasons that I am more focused on plants, because we easily know how to eat animal protein. Easily. So it's because we've grown up with it, right? We eat it every single meal. I don't, but a lot of people have eaten it every single meal, every single day, and you're burdening the liver. So this is kind of circling back to our livers.
Yeah.
But I think the most nutrient dense foods on the planet are plants, or, or could be, depending on what animal it is and what part of the animal you may be eating, could be nutrient dense too. Just depends. I don't eat a lot of animal protein. I do. I'm not vegan. I am not, any particular vegetarian. I am not a carnivore. I do not believe in any one belief system, to be honest with you. So I like just eating a lot of plants.
Yeah.
And so that's, the most plant forward we can be. So I like what Michael Pollan said. So in Omnivore's Dilemma was eat real food, mostly plants.
Eat real food, mostly plants.
Yes.
Now, were we eating plants as cave women and cavemen back in the day?
What else would we be eating other than, we'd have to go hunt and gather. So what are we gathering? Berries, plants, things that we would gather, and then you go hunt for food.
Yes.
So
we weren't gathering corn back in the day, were we?
It depends on where you were in the world, right? So it depends on where that's been grown.
Okay.
Corn, again, it's so genetically modified.
Yeah.
It wasn't at one point, but it is now. And it's been probably for the past maybe 75 years. It's been maybe even less, but super genetically modified.
Yeah.
Not just hybridized, but genetically modified. So corn, were we gathering? It depends on what they were gathering, because there's so many foods and there's so many plants out there that in nature that are edible that we don't even know about. So when people go foraging and eating, which I'll plug, I did just yesterday, but we have a white pine tree in our backyard, and I go and pick the pine needles and I eat them. So were they?
She's eating trees.
I was eating trees.
I've heard of tree huggers. I never heard of
I do that too.
Eaters.
I do that too.
Annette. I love it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, and then there's weeds out there. There's grasses. Again,
she's eating dandelions. I know you are.
I do. I know
you. Are you walking around barefoot too?
Yeah,
are you grounding in the backyard too?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. That's how you connect and you heal. You connect to the earth. Yes, it's for healing. It's for, really good that you mentioned grounding, because I know we're going to go in a million different directions.
I hope you're washing those dirty feet before you walk around the house.
No, why?
Oh my.
We wipe them off a little, right?
I love it.
But it's interesting when if you fly a lot, or if you travel a lot,
Yeah.
and you're going from one time zone to another,
Mhm.
one of the best ways to get acclimated and get your body into a better rhythm, the circadian rhythm of that area, is to, when you get off the plane and you go to your hotel or wherever you're going, is go outside for like 15 minutes barefoot. Again, if it's cold, you're not going to really do this, but
You can.
go do
Wim Hof. Wim Hof does.
That's true. You do your breathing.
Wim Hof does.
Breathe right through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Wim Hof can do it, we can all do it, right?
Hell yeah.
But you go and you put your feet on the ground, and hopefully in the grass. And that's where you're trying to go, is into the grass. So you get the soil, the grass, but you actually do that because a lot of people get jet lagged. And in order to kind of balance the jet lag or not get jet lagged, you are grounding to that particular environment in that area of the earth so that you can sync up to the rhythm of that area that you're in. So it lessens or hopefully negates the jet lag. So it either mitigates it or it will negate it. So it's huge.
We are pulling
Grounding.
that clip. If you're just joining us, this is episode 38 of Live Beyond Default Livestream. We have Annette. We're calling her the plant woman. We're talking about grounding. We're talking about GMO foods.
Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of cool things. And if anybody has any questions, please share them in the chat, because Annette is more than happy to answer anything nutrition, anything plant-based, and she's here to challenge us. And we're here to learn, because we all have different ideas, and it's so great to learn from others, especially not who you're used to hearing feedback from. And I see that we get into this so often right now. You see what's called tribalism. You see what's called groupthink. And what that does, in my opinion, is it negates lateral thinking. Look that one up on Google, lateral thinking. So the creative aspect of solving a problem and growing versus what the group thinks, or versus what's on the surface. I think that a lot of what we have right now is tribalism, it's collectivism, and we're pointing fingers and we're victim and villainizing, and we all do it at times. It's just important to catch that. You see it on the news, which who's even watching news? Stop.
I know, stop.
The news does absolutely nothing. Here's the thing about news.
It's such propaganda.
And let's put it in one sentence. If there's anything important in the world, I guarantee you it'll find its way and get to you. You're not going to find it on the news, because that's not what's important. What the news is doing is it's putting us in a fight or flight state
all the time,
just like the shitty ass foods that people are giving us. And then we walk around doing what I call derping. Okay. And when we're derping, we're like this, and we're walking around. Watch the movie The Matrix. Okay. Batteries in the Matrix. Part of what Annette is doing is leveling up what we put into our bodies, so our minds, we can think creatively, we can think laterally, we don't judge. Instead, we grow and create and become and collaborate more versus this side or that side.
We're here to, that's the thing, is we're here to be compassionate with each other.
Oh, wait, let me play the acoustic guitar while we're doing this. Okay, go on.
Ready? We're going to talk about love and compassion, but it's true. We're supposed to be here to really support each other and be compassionate with each other. And we find so much arguing constantly. And I guarantee if you don't watch the news, you probably won't fall into this as often, where you're arguing. It's fear-based. And I'm not talking about all different all sides of the mainstream media. I'm not talking about one or the other, because again, one or the other, if you find in the middle, they're talking about the same thing. They have the same script. It's the same script.
It's funny how that works, right?
Yeah, it's the same script. So finding media that or whatever it is, any news like this, it's going to be outside of the mainstream media. And the one thing I wanted to point out too oh my gosh,
what are we pointing out here?
I also wanted to mention the health. You were saying something about being healthy, and I think to your point is everybody's definition of health is different. And so it doesn't mean that one specific way is going to work best for that next person. Because if I
yeah.
asked somebody in a room, which I've done this before in my speaking engagements, is I'll just ask, okay, well, what's your definition of healthy? What's your definition of healthy? Everyone's going to have a different way of viewing it. And that is okay. We are here to listen to each other's perspectives.
Yes.
And just kind of, you may not agree with it, and that's totally fine. But it's nice to be able to hear, well, you know what? It may open up your eyes to something else. And, oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. But I didn't know about that. And that I don't agree with. And that's okay. But you know what? You don't need to constantly voice your opinion everywhere. And that, you're right, you're wrong, you're right, you're wrong. I'm right, I'm right, I'm right.
Yeah.
It's not that way. It's everyone's going to be a little bit different. Now, as a human, I do believe as a human species, we are all built similarly, of course. I mean,
100%.
As a human, right? We have certain things that we need to put in our bodies that will make it run well. And that's why I say, even looking around this earth, is that we have so many edible foods, hence the white pine needles that I was eating. But we have it all around us. We have plants as an abundance all around us. We have lost the information on how to identify certain plants, edible plants. So either way, point is, we are all meant to eat a lot of vegetation, a lot of plants. And what we need to go out and hunt, or what we were doing, animal, if it's clean animal, absolutely. But look at what's around us. I always like to say, look at what's around us in abundance. Food. You have lots of plants, lots of, of course, fruits and vegetables, but flowers, lots of things are edible. And we walk right past it every single day, not even thinking that that's, we can eat that. So that's why I say we're built all very similarly. We need to put more plants in our bodies.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be around us everywhere if we weren't supposed to eat it. It is there for our consumption, for our energy. Food is energy.
Tweet that, social media, Sarah. I like that one. And on that note, you made me think of something.
Yeah.
So we're seeing this big wave, especially with Rona in 2020, of what I like to call safetyism. And the safetyism wave is, it was always put on by schools in different areas to say, hey, we're keeping your children safe. Politicians, we're keeping this safe, right? So they kept us safe during Rona and now. And exactly. So what about,
it's interesting.
You wonder why sometimes the algorithm doesn't necessarily work in my favor. Hint, hint.
So thanks to Kent for jumping on and helping the algorithm, right?
Yes. Thank you, Kent. So funny thing is, like, if you look at what's called the food pyramid that so many of us grew up on, and you look at safetyism now and what they or them told us to do and told us to eat, you notice the food pyramid, the bottom was what? Grains.
Yeah, grains and exactly.
Grains that were at that time just starting to become GMO and very, very processed. And when you look at that, I'm not saying it necessarily needs to be flipped over. It does.
It actually does need to be flipped over.
So
I was going to say that.
She's out of control.
Yeah.
The point is that
let's get to it.
There is, when you look at that, like, that part of it is too, like, hey, we know what's best for you. Do you think that anybody's going to tell us to go eat a dandelion or eat something in our backyard when there is no consumerism and fear and profit connected to what's in the backyard? Do you really think that people, whoever is doing whatever, do you really think that they're going to say to eat these foods? Do you really think that they're going to say, support Nick Wallace of Wallace Farms, support 99 counties in Iowa? Are they going to say, support All Grass Farms in Dundee, Illinois? You think they're going to say that? Or do you think that they're going to say to eat something else on a commercial, and this is going to make you feel better afterwards because you felt sick from what you ate, right? The system is set to defend itself.
Yeah.
And what are you doing? What are we doing to defend ourselves from that system. So what I'll say is, number one,
Right.
Jason is right. No, they won't. Thank
Correct.
you. Thanks for saying that, Jason. Thanks for showing up, my friend. So what are we doing to defend ourselves? Well, we're challenging each other to live beyond default, living a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. We're having guests on where we might not agree 100%. What we're doing, though, is we're bringing options and bringing different ways and sharing those in a collaborative sense that raises our cognition, right? Raises our reticular activation system. That's another one. Google reticular activation system and also Google lateral thinking. Those are two big concepts that when you're eating shitty food, you can't do it, right? You're plugging, you're just a battery plugged in then. So I don't know where I was going.
You made a really good point, though, I wanted to bring up, of course, about the profit and the financial piece of it, because there is such a connection with the dandelion or whatever it is outside. Yeah. Are you going to hear that being promoted? And we've kind of lost learning about foraging and eating what's in our backyards, especially, okay, I'm not going to promote eating it if it's been sprayed with fertilizers and a lot of that stuff that you don't want to be spraying on it. And then, of course, eating. But that's the thing, is there's no profit in that. And then it's keeping you healthy too. So there's no profit in that either. So you're actually in dandelion.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, right?
Eating the right thing.
Yeah.
And then staying healthy. There's no profit in that. So we're
those crazy people who are healthy. Oh my gosh.
We're going to push it the other way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I had 2 pieces of pizza last night from a bar where there was an event. It doesn't mean that we're not, what do you think was in there? Right? I ate so clean all day. I had these 2 pieces. And why did I do that? I did that because I wanted that instant hit of dopamine, which was really fake at the time, right? I'm all about keeping our dopamine levels, raising that level line of dopamine. Oh gosh, I've been studying that for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, I've booked for you then.
I love it. I do a lot with Andrew Huberman. So I've been listening to him a lot and others, but it's interesting how when you really look at the big picture, that it doesn't have to be always, we don't even use the P word, the perfect word, because there's no such thing.
No such thing.
It's just taking a small step. Like Jason just said, I got Jack eating salads for lunch now. That makes a big difference.
That's huge.
What am I eating for lunch today? Annette, I will share.
What are you eating or what am I eating?
What are you eating? I'm going to share with you what I'm eating, okay? So here's what I'm eating. I am eating oatmeal made with water and salt. I make that with Redmond's salt from Utah, mined in Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I also, the oats are actually, they're actually paleo. So the process that they use to make them.
Gluten-free.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's gluten-free. Yes.
Gluten-free.
It's a gluten-free oat. So I'm using that. There's no dairy in there.
Right.
And I make it over the weekend. I make 6 servings and it lasts the whole week. So I put it in the fridge. I just scoop some out, put it in a bowl.
Yeah.
I have some walnuts and my 4 Brazil nuts that I'm going to mix after I heat up.
Selenium, right?
Selenium.
Zinc. Yeah.
And then I have 3 hard-boiled eggs. Now, the eggs I get are from Allgrass Farms. I drive by. When I pull up, I see the chickens right there. Okay. I trust that they are not spraying the land. I trust that they're not giving the chickens bad grains. And when I eat those eggs, I feel so good. To me, and this is just my opinion, the egg is almost like the perfect food. You've got this protein that's super highly digestible, that has a high biological value, which means your body will actually absorb the protein and actually use it. And then in the yolk has a lot of good fat and has a lot of good vitamins and minerals that your body will also absorb. That's my take on eggs. What's your take? It seems like it just keeps coming back to the food is so bastardized in so many different ways that if you're eating these foods that aren't bastardized and aren't stepped on, they're probably pretty good for you or not bad for you. But again, you have to see how you feel. When I eat 1 or 2 or 3 eggs, I feel great. When I eat this oatmeal, I feel great. Like,
Mhm.
I don't feel funny. I can tell when I go washroom next day. I can tell during the day. Like, it just feels good for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's for everyone. That's just my opinion.
Right, right. And I agree. And I think it probably was at some point. But what happened, you mentioned the word, but it's been defiled. Like
Yeah.
a lot of our foods have been defiled, which we were talking about, the wheat, the corn, the soy. Okay. Then what happens then to the animal protein? Then becomes, sick from eating these things that have been, defiled. Have been, when I say defiled, they've been genetically modified. They are not necessarily hybridized as defilement, but they have been genetically modified, and they have been used in ways, I think, in labs to feed different things. When we talk about that, like viruses, bacteria, and used as a clinical medium, and eggs are one of them. And that's why
clinical medium.
Yes.
Interesting.
So,
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So what happens too, and again, this started probably back in the, you can take a look and do your own research, but this was like back in I feel like it was like the 40s, maybe. So this has been about like the past 75 years.
Okay.
So not that eggs are bad, not that they're good, not, and I get this question a lot is, well, what if I just buy them from a farm, or I know where the chickens are coming from, this, that, whatever. That was probably okay a while ago. But because these eggs are used as, when I say a clinical medium, they're used as a food. And they get used as a food for viruses and bacteria and maybe funguses, mold, whatever it is, or fungus, mold. So with eggs, I used to eat eggs too. Totally fine. Then I started doing some cleansing as I got into my own health struggles and all that, digestively, IBS, and then lots of rosacea and skin issues, and just there's tons of stuff. But with all that said, I ended up cutting out. First, it was wheat. Huge difference. My body felt so good, so much.
I got to agree with that wheat.
Better.
Keep going. Go on, girl.
Gluten and wheat. Yeah.
So Go on, girl.
And next it was dairy.
Yeah.
Because dairy is mucus forming, and it can actually also feed viruses and bacteria. Not that we don't have those in our body. Of course, we have viruses and bacteria and all of that in our bodies, but we want to make sure it's not at an unproductive level, at a very high level in the body. Certain bacteria, if they're unproductive bacteria high in the body, we are going to start feeling it, and we're not going to feel well. So some people start breaking out, and acne, is not, you don't just put stuff on your face for acne or breakouts. That comes from within. That comes from right in your gut.
Acne will go away from within.
From what you're putting in your body.
98% of the time.
Rosacea, same thing. If you've got any skin issues, that's your liver and your body telling you, I have to get this garbage out. So what is going on really? So when I talk about, eggs and other foods that are feeding unproductive bacteria, fungus, again, it could be viruses in the body, we're thinking about what type of foods those can be. And eggs are one of them, unfortunately.
I like that.
Not that eggs are the only one. Of course, it's dairy. That's another big one, because when we think about it.
Hold this while you're talking.
Oh, okay. Grass-fed beef. No, I'm kidding. I think it's fine.
Do you want to hit me over the head with it?
Grass-fed beef is fine. Well, I'd have to look at the ingredient label.
There's a little bit of salt in there. There's a little bit of salt.
There might be something else in there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But that's why I think with eggs. So I cut out the gluten, and then, of course, the dairy, and then the eggs. And it wasn't just me. My husband was doing this too. And the reason I say eggs, it made such a big difference for me is, like, my stomach, number one, started feeling so much better after no gluten. And then the dairy, because then the gas and some of the bloating and just a lot of the lethargy and not feeling energetic, like that started also lifting a lot when I stopped the dairy. And
brain fog probably went away.
Brain fog, more mental clarity, especially with no gluten, but then the dairy, then the eggs. And my husband was experiencing a very inflamed knee. So he had technically a pre-arthritic knee. So if anybody has any joint pain or has any sort of, inflammation in the body, and if it's at a higher level, there could be an underlying issue there. It could be a higher level of a bacteria, or it could be a virus that might be sitting in the body. And then it's eating, when you're eating the eggs, it's eating the eggs. So it's feeding it. So then your joints are starting to hurt. It's like every time I ate eggs, and I have people who, they'll cut it out for a minute, and then they'll actually bring it back in and start feeling it. And they're like, oh my gosh, sinus issues. sign. And I'm like, well, what did you eat? Because it's not always about what we ate, but I like to look right now to on the physical level, what are we eating? So then the sinus issues start, or, oh my gosh, I'm feeling congested. And I'm like, well, what happened? What did you have? Oh, I had some dairy, or I had eggs. Oh, bingo. There we go. Right away. But my husband was nice to know for him, he cut out the wheat and the dairy. It was like a couple of years, and his knee, so much better. The last thing I said, we might want to try the eggs too. You might want to cut them out. No. That's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it is for both of us. But then as you start really, as a chef and a health coach, I create different meals and different things to replace and as substitutes. This is what I do. So that way we're not necessarily missing the eggs or whatever it is. Yeah, you're going to miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was the biggest key for him. And there's more to that whole story about him going to the orthopedic surgeon and getting a steroid a shot. The shot in his
of course, there's a shot for everything.
Did nothing.
There's a shot for everything.
Yes, there's a shot.
We'll fix it.
Right. Yeah.
We'll keep you safe.
Shot for everything.
Yeah.
That is very true. We'll keep you safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the shot. So, but anyways.
You brought up something here about your husband.
So yeah, but that was the biggest thing is with the eggs when he cut it out.
Yeah.
No inflammation. This has been years. I mean, it's 2015. So we're in 2000. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been at least 6 or 7 years that his knee has not bothered him. And it was bothering him for years and years and years before that.
Yeah.
I cut out the eggs, and that was, it was the wheat, the dairy, and then the eggs. And he said, my knee is perfect. And it felt so good. And again, nothing is perfect, but it feels amazing. He's not had that issue or inflammation for that period of time. So
speaking of issues,
yes,
I have a question for you.
Okay.
And you talked about your husband a little bit.
Yes.
Now, back in the day, I've dated vegans and vegetarians. And at times they could be quite annoying because all they would do was talk about their veganism and their vegetarian.
It becomes a religion. That's why I don't believe in any one belief system.
And they'd be a little bit judgy, Annette. But, it was kind of annoying, but they were kind of hot. So like you kind of deal with it, right? There's like that scale, guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's kind of like that balance. Okay. So for you, would you not date a guy?
My husband's watching. Should I answer?
Based on what he was eating. This is before your husband. Would you judge and not date the guy because you were like, oh, gross? Would you vet the guy by going out to dinner and seeing what he ate?
No, I think it's values is what I would look at. Is the values?
Sounds a little judgy in there.
I mean, you all have values. We all have values. You have values.
Oh, well, I do.
Didn't sound like it. Well, she was hot, so I just, whatever. No, I'm kidding. But it's true.
Now we are all wired differently.
Right.
And we are all males and females, masculine, feminine, wired to be attracted to different things in the world.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so maybe at the time I might have been judgy, but I was definitely not in the same space as I am now. I absolutely was in a different space. So I was
pay for her dinner.
Pay for my dinner.
You just ate your hamburger and she's scooting up. Oh, I'm really tired.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I gotta go home. I gotta get up early tomorrow. You gotta get up early tomorrow.
I mean,
You're leaving already?
I gotta go to bed at 8:30.
Oh my! I can just imagine.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I wish I did. But no. So I mean, it's values. It's really also like, well, how does this person value what they're putting in their body?
Yeah.
How does this person value how they treat themselves, their body, not just of course their body, but everything. And so I guess it's always benefit of the doubt. Right? You're like, well, let's get to know the person first before it's like, oh my gosh, they just ate that. I'm totally not talking to them ever again. No, like that's stupid.
Well,
personally, I don't think because it's very judgy and it's like, well, you have your own journey. We all have our own journeys. We all have our own lives. Who is this person to tell that person what to do and how to live their life when you are a mess yourself, right? When you don't have it all sewed up yourself. And that's the key is like, and what I work with people on is more, and like you too, is more, how do we support you? I'll hold you accountable. We'll provide education, but it's you that, you're going to make the decisions to do what you're going to do. But how about let's get some support and do it? But I don't want to be, I'm not judgmental on it. It's really do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not judgmental.
I like that. I like that. And that's a great answer. So let's think about this now.
Yeah.
I always say September is the new January. And what are we doing right now? We're preparing for 2023. We're going to finish 2022 strong. We're not going to run to the finish line. We're going to run through the finish line.
Yeah, right.
And then how do we set ourselves up for Thanksgiving, the holidays? Grandma made these cookies. Oh, eat them. Or be a good little boy and girl and eat this food that we made. Remember that? Huh? Be a good little boy and then I'll love you more, right? Remember back in the day.
Yeah.
So the point is,
or who's watching?
I want to hear from
Santa's watching you. Like, what?
See?
No.
So I want to hear from you, Annette. Like, what are we gonna do as a group, as a community, right? It's November. 3 weeks is Thanksgiving, and then we're in that holiday phase. What are we going to do to stay present during the holidays? How do we stay on path, being focused, being aware of what we're eating, drinking, breathing, whatever we're doing? How do we stay aware of that? And how do we just not be out of control, but make little changes now, so when the new year comes, we don't go, okay, now I'm never doing this again,
which is
ever.
Doesn't work.
And then 2 weeks later, you fall off the deep end, and you crash and burn. And then when May comes along, you're in a frenzy to try to lose the belly, or to try to do this, or to try to do that, because summer's coming, when it's like, you know what? Let's be on path now.
Yeah.
It's every single day. It's slight edge habits. A little bit every day makes the big difference. I'm big on stoicism. I'm big on taking personal responsibility. And I'm big on like leaning into discomfort for growth, opportunity, and fulfillment, right? Staying out of that comfort zone and leaning into discomfort. So what do we do, Annette, moving forward? Starting to prep right now. So when Thanksgiving weekend comes, so when those holiday parties come, the first and second and third week of December, and we're given something to eat, or somebody bakes something, and what do we do to stay on path and start prepping, as I like to call the pre-frame? What can we do now to pre-frame for the upcoming holidays, so we all stay on path and we think clearly, and we're not derping, and we're being focused on what's going on in the world and around us? Right? Think about, I said the R word, Andrew. I know. I only said it 3 times this whole episode. So what can we do that's simple, that we could start today to really keep us on path?
Okay, so there's a couple things you said, and I really like it. And
I said a lot of stuff.
You said a lot of things. A couple things stuck out to me. I didn't listen to anything else, but no, I'm kidding.
Here's the takeaways. What do we start doing moving forward?
Yeah, well,
like
I think
today, this weekend.
So it's awareness, right? Okay. I also think finding somebody to do it with, because that's a big key, is accountability. And having a partner to do that with, whether, again, I mean, as a health coach, I'm always encouraging people, do it with somebody. Find somebody either in your house or a friend to be able to do it with. It's just like going out for a walk. You can push yourself to go for a walk, but it's always nice to do it with somebody and say, let's go do this together, because you're that much more apt to continue it. And working with a coach, or working with somebody, or just finding somebody that is really an accountability partner to do it, and then going through with them maybe those top 1 or 2 or 3 goals that you want to work through, because that's how you're going to stay accountable, is and writing it down too. I know it sounds crazy and silly, like I don't like to journal, blah blah, but you know what, journaling, or just kind of talking to yourself, taking time for yourself and saying, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I want to write out what it is that I want to see for myself within the next couple months. Because going through the holidays is hard because of blah, blah, blah. We all have our own reasons that going through the holidays could be hard, could be joyful, whatever it might be. So I think just stopping for a moment and checking in with yourself, like, what do I want that to look like? Because to your point, January, yes, it's the technically new calendar year, but your new year starts today. It starts whenever you want it to start, right?
Tweet that social media, Sarah. I love it. Yeah, the new year starts now. It's not this calendar year.
Yeah.
That's super default.
Right.
Again, live beyond default.
Yes.
Thinking, lateral thinking, being clear on and focused. I like that you said accountability partner. Mm-hmm. We're all about accountability on this show. We're all about accountability, writing goals down, setting goals that are actually reasonable.
Right.
Right?
Right. I mean, you can write awesome, lofty goals because you got to dream. We have to dream too.
Yeah.
But what are some things that are reasonable that you know you can accomplish? It's like add another glass of water in each day. Okay.
Another glass of water.
Whoa, that was hard.
Yeah.
And it's not. So yes. Sorry, you wanted to recap? I like the comfortable, uncomfortable conversation too, because and what Sabrina knows too, I love this, is like as an introvert, but being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable, whatever it is that you're going through, and if you need to make a change for something, look to somebody who has done it before. Look to the expert, plug into their expertise. I mean, as an example, it's like going through digestive issues and skin issues. And I've got so many other things that I've gone through. And
she has issues.
You too. Yeah. I'm a big walking issue. So as are you. No, I'm kidding.
I love it. Yeah, we are. And it's okay.
But it's okay. It's our messes are there to be our message, right? And
our mess is our message.
Yeah.
Another one.
And plug in. Yeah. Just plug into somebody who might have, done it before and who you just, that they know better, that a little bit better in that particular topic than you do. And then just reach out to them and find that person to be your accountability buddy and to help you go through certain things. So, but getting comfortable with being uncomfortable helps you learn more and helps us grow. And we are here on this earth, right, to make a difference and to grow and to learn. And that's the key. So there's so many things in there. I think awareness was another one that I'm so happy that you touched on that, because it's not about your willpower. It's always about how aware are you of what you're doing? Are you conscious of what you're doing, as opposed to, I can't have that cookie or cake or whatever. It's really like, well, if you do have it, how are you going to feel?
Yeah.
Is it going to feed a disease, or is it going to actually help your energy and make you feel amazing?
Yeah.
Now, if you choose it, it's your choice. Don't feel guilty about it. You did it. You ate that whole bag of potato chips. Okay, it is what it is. Move on to the next. I'm not saying
next bag of chips.
Right. Move on to the next bag of chips. No. I don't encourage that, but you know what? Know you made that choice and move on and be okay with it, and stop blaming other people for your, what your bad habits or whatever is happening, or the anxiety or whatever is happening. It's not their fault. It's really your mirror reflection, right? So it's the awareness. Be aware more. And we always are checking in every single second of the day. I am like checking in on my awareness. Like, why am I cutting gluten out? Why am I doing this? Do I want my marriage to be better? Of course, I want to actively be better for my partner. I want to be a better partner. I want to feel better. I don't want to not work. I want to work and serve others. So I have to be healthy to do it. I have to feel good. I've got to put the right things, building blocks in my body so that I was not going back to where I was on the couch for a year and a half, couple of years, where I was just tired as all tired. So I was like, got to get uncomfortable now. I got to change my diet. I got to change this, cut gluten out. Oh God, how this is going to go. But I did it. And like, why would you, like, I was thinking to myself, why would I not try something like this? I'm so glad that I did, because, oh my gosh, it elevated the way I felt. It didn't put me backwards. It actually brought me forwards. And I'm like, that's what we're here to do, is elevate. We need to elevate. And I can keep talking about that. So
why would I, back in the day, date that vegan? Oh yeah, she was super hot and fun to be out with. That's right. I remember.
Yeah.
Now we all brought it back.
Yeah, exactly.
We brought it back around. So thank you.
I gotta look at the ingredients.
Thank you. Yeah, you look at the ingredients. I'm gonna throw the music back on for the end here. And
that's funny.
Thank you for all joining us on. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Thank you for investing your time in this episode. You know that you could always go back, watch the replay. I appreciate if you share this with others too. And you get a hold of me, you could DM me through either Facebook or put a comment on YouTube. But most importantly, LinkedIn. I'm not even on Facebook that much, although I stream there too. And how do we get a hold of you?
So my name is, again, Annette Licitra, and my business is called Passionette Palette. So it's play on my name. So Passionette So it's PASSIONETTE and then PALATE. PassionatePalette.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Annette Licitra. I'm also on Facebook, and my business page is Passionate Palette on Facebook and Instagram. So you can hook up with me there. Let me know if you have any questions. I do a lot of, I really do focus on truly transforming the lives of busy professionals who are really sick and tired of the nightmarish cycle of digestive issues, low energy, and chronic inflammation. And I do this through 14-day cleanses, their energy boost cleanses, as well as my coaching. So individual coaching, it's very individualized. So that, and then also just cooking classes and cooking demos. I do them virtually, in person, lots of fun things, wellness, speaking engagements, and I'm an author too. So I'm a co-author of a book. So let me know if you have any questions on that. I love that. That's awesome. It's an awesome gift for the holidays. I shouldn't plug that, but it really is.
You know what the gift is, Annette?
Me. You.
No,
what?
It's you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Like, I don't even really know Annette, and she came on the show, and I just met her through other people, and she seemed cool. I like what she was doing. She's adding value. She's sharing resources. She's coming from love. She's not trying to take anything. And that's what we're all about here on the Live Beyond Default live stream. Thank you again for joining us. Okay, here's the part where we do the heart.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Until next time.
Right.
Make it a great week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, too. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.